A few years ago, the White Earth Band of Ojibways joined a growing number of Indian tribes in America and built a casino on their reservation. The casino isn't much by Vegas standards, but it's a casino, and there isn't much competition on the plains of western Minnesota, and the dollars pour in by the millions. But all that money doesn't seem to be getting back to the people, because this is still one of the poorest communities in Minnesota. A friend of mine who lives on the reservation has told me the stories going around about the tactics that the tribal chairman, Darrell Chip Wadena, has used to skim money from the casino and to engineer the tribal elections that he always ends up winning.
The casino profits could go for housing, it can go for elder service, it can help us have a diet other than USDA food commodities. People don't believe on the outside what is really happening at White Earth here.
But now, my friend Irma is called to invite me to visit the reservation and to bring my camera, because this is an election year at White Earth, and the opponents of the chairman, including Irma, have broken the silence on the reservation.
This is in violation of the Constitution, and we cannot accept laws that are in violation of the Constitution.
The jurisdiction to correct these crimes and wrongs is ours, and we claim it.
How long will it be before organized crime takes over? Mahnomen, Ogama, Callaway, White Earth, the reservation as a whole will not only be under one dictatorship, will probably be under a second dictatorship.
The chairman, for his part, says that the accusations against him are just sour grapes, and that after 20 years in office, he doesn't plan on stepping down anytime soon.
But, I've lived and loved this reservation. I live for it. The more I can do for it, the more I want to do. A lot of people may not believe that, but that's what my life has been all about. And I believe I could do better. And I believe there's a destiny for me someplace in this thing. But if I fulfill it or don't, it may be my fault, you know what I mean?
With a few months to go before the election, I get the feeling that a lot could happen here, and I've decided to stick around and follow the campaign through to the end. Irma's given me the names of some of Wadena's most outspoken opponents. First on the list is Lowell Bellinger.
This is where our meal will come from.
Lowell is a Korean War veteran and a retired welder, and he thinks this might be his year to unseat the chairman.
This It's going to be interesting in the next 2 days. From what I hear, people are really enthused about my candidacy. That I'm the reflection of what they want, and so I think we're going to make a big difference in this election. I think we're going to kick Mr. Wadina's butt up one side and down the other on the res. Hey, are you there? Are you there?
You're cutting yourself out, mister.
You're cracking up, you're cracking up. I got out of the service. I used my GI Bill. I went to Hanson's Mechanical Trade School in Fargo, and I got to be a combination welder and mechanic. And I use that trade. I use that trade very wisely all my life. I've always worked. I'm a certified welder in 3 states. There's only 2 things I cannot weld. That's wood and a broken heart.
I would say about 1/3 of the people on this reservation live in substandard housing, such as mobile homes, simply because they don't fit into Wadina's circle. And he's become so blatantly corrupt. Chip has a construction company, built a casino. He has a lumber company that provided the lumber for the casino. He, sounds like the mafia. He took lessons from the mafia.
And how much money are we talking about?
We're talking about the tribe brings in, according to in federal court, the tribe handles $55 million a year, and what it is, probably 35 million of that it comes out of the casino. It has made Chip and Jerry Raleigh millionaires, and very greedier as every day goes by.
Irma was born and raised on the reservation, and she's been a teacher and a political activist here all her life. When she invited me to visit her for the election season, I figured that she'd be running for office. But although she says she's still making up her mind, for now she's supporting someone else.
Which side? The side?
Right there. Bugger MacArthur owns a grocery store on the reservation, and he has a long history of involvement in politics here. He's invited me to join his entourage as he goes door to door looking for votes.
Just kind of going around reminding people to vote and think about voting for me, and any questions that you might. So how are you feeling, young lady?
I feel okay.
Doing pretty good?
Been trying to get my house fixed. It leaks, you know.
Nobody comes. Housing won't come, huh?
And our lights didn't work for about 3 years. Try to get them to fix them, they wouldn't do it, you know. They get money over there. Every month they get money to get the houses fixed.
For these houses, for the houses, for all our houses. You know.
And I don't know their address, you know. I do.
In Chicago, there. Yeah. So who's winning? She's skinning you? Okay. Well, it's good to see you guys. Good to see you, Hazel.
Yeah.
You take care of yourself. I'll be back again. Running a campaign and participating in tribal politics does affect and does take a major part of your time away from you with your family. So that was a big consideration, but all my family supported it and endorsed me, and consequently I got involved, and that really was.
Bugger strikes me as a polished campaigner, and he says that comes from years of practice. He says this is his 5th campaign and his 3rd try for Wadeena's office. In the last election, Bugger says that the first vote count gave him the win, until Chip ordered a recount.
And I can't remember the amount of the margin of victory for us, but when he met Chip, he goes, Chip, oh, geez, tough race. He said, too bad you lost. And Chip goes, what do you mean I lost? He said, well, geez, I called in at 4:30, and her name was Colleen Johnson, the election board chairman. Colleen Johnson said that Bugger won the election. Couldn't believe it. Bugger beat you. Well, yeah, he says, Chip Wadena says, yeah, well, that was a big mistake. They counted wrong. He said, and I think Jerry said they said we had won by 47. But when Chip came out of the election board, he said, no, they made a mistake. They counted wrong. I won by 9 votes, he goes.
The Indians believe that, there's a medicine that they believe in, especially Chippewyans. And I studied at one time to become a medicine man. And they asked me, why didn't you finish? I said, do you know what the belief is? And they said, no. I said, the belief is that the medicine chooses you. You don't choose it. So it's probably the medicine didn't choose me while I'm not there. But that's what I believe about this too, that this is the leaders are chosen by whatever. I mean, not so much your own doing, but by a great plan somewhere. Hello.
4 years ago, 100 White Earth members occupied the grounds of the tribal government building. They demanded accountability from Wadeena's government, and they called for a review of the tribal election process, which they said was continually being frauded. They called their movement Camp Justice, and they appointed Irma and Lowell as spokespeople.
Some tribes benefit greatly by the casinos. They build schools, build hospitals, build vital services for the people on their reservation. It is in the hands of a tribal government that is corrupt and sovereign from all sanctions from the United States and the state governments. And so what we have is an open season on Indians here.
When Irma appeared with Lowell on Fargo TV during Camp Justice, she said that the protesters felt that it was the beginning of the end for Wadeena, although she admitted there was still an uphill battle ahead of them.
Hello, thanks for holding. You're on the line.
Yes, I have a question. Who sets the payback on these machines? And why are you not going to make better than you say you are? We've been there to play many times, and nobody's winning but the Indians.
No, it's not really the Indians that are winning, ma'am. We, right now, as tribal members, we have no idea what comes into the casino, what's being spent there each day, or what's happening at the casino.
Now, 4 years later, the Camp Justice movement has splintered. Wadeena, campaigning for his 6th term, looks stronger than ever. While his opponents are starting to fight among themselves. Irma's worried that too many candidates will split the opposition vote. And now she finds that after working with Lowell during Camp Justice, she can't support him for chairman. She's been drafting a letter asking Lowell to drop out of the race and support Bugger's campaign. Today she mailed the letter, and now she's nervously waiting for Lowell's response.
Hi diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, and the cow jumped over the moon. And the little dog laughed to see such a sight, and the dish run away with the spoon. That was not the way they were taught to say it. I substituted Indian words within that nursery rhyme, such as hi diddle diddle, gosh a geesh played the fiddle. Bishaki jumped over the moon. Animush Bapi, to see such a sight, the dish he batooed with the spoon. And and they went to school, and they said, no, the teacher told them, no, that ain't the way you say it. It is too, that's the way my dad taught me to say it. Ain't that right, Mark? The kid swore that was exactly the way it was supposed to be said. But I was trying to teach him how to say, where are you going?
I'm just going over here and hang up my coat. I'm
No.
not leaving you.
No, I thought you was to go to mail or something.
It went already.
Oh, you did, huh?
That's a paper you
Was there any mail?
You just picked it up and
Oh, let me
set
get
it
this.
down.
It says, I have done a great deal of thinking about the election and other issues on the reservation. The purpose of this letter is to plead with you to unite behind one candidate who I believe has the best chance to win against Chip Wadena. This candidate is Bugger MacArthur. I am convinced beyond all doubt that Bugger now has the best chance to win this election. With peace, Irma Visner. Stick it where the sun don't shine. I don't know what the hell makes Irma think that guy is so great. He never was with our reform movement from day one. You know something, Nick? With my support, not only on White Earth, in the cities and other places, I'll bet you $10 I'm gonna beat the pants right off Bugger. That broad support she claims she has does not exist. And I bet you when election time rolls around, if I don't drop out, I'm gonna beat the hell out of Buggers in the election, and I'm gonna beat Chip Wadena.
The Shooting Star Casino is getting increasingly popular with tourists who come by busload from Fargo and Winnipeg and the Twin Cities. But I've noticed a resentment for the place among many White Earth residents. There's a lot of angry talk about the people Chip has hired to run the casino. Apparently, Wadena made a deal behind closed doors with a group from Pennsylvania who call themselves Gaming World International. The story I heard from Irma is that these guys were concrete or asphalt contractors, and that this is their first casino. Nonetheless, the deal they made with Chip gives them around 40% of the proceeds from the casino. That's much more than casino operators take on other reservations in Minnesota.
I got 3 sevens living here.
Come on, this time now. Give me a bar.
People are saying that such a bad deal for the tribe is probably a good deal for Chip, and it's widely believed that he's getting kickbacks and other perks from the arrangement.
On behalf of the Shooting Star Casino, I want to welcome everybody. After 4 years, we finally got a sunny day for this celebration.
The bottom line, though, is that most people are simply in the dark about what's going on behind the scenes at the casino.
Here with us, we've got over $40,000 in cash and prize giveaways. If you're playing or just happen to be walking through, you're going to have many chances to win.
Now, we live just 17 miles from Treasure Island, the casino in Welsh, Minnesota. They have a powwow too, but I've never attended. So here I come 250 miles and am lucky enough to see this event today. It's really nice. I mean, my God, these women take those snuff box tops and all the embellishments that look like silver bangles on their costumes are simply the silver disc from a snuff box pounded and hammered into the shape they want it to be, making something beautiful out of nothing.
Chip's campaign materials boast of 1,100 new jobs at the casino. Irma's response is that only a small portion of those jobs go to tribal members, and those that do are usually part-time and minimum wage, with little chance for advancement and few benefits.
She said Chip came out in a paper and said he was going to give them, employees their lunches back. Well, the free lunch they get there. Mm-hmm. Well, he's the one that took it away in the first place. Mm-hmm. And when now he's going to give it back. He just plays around with these people.
Yeah. Mary Perry said that she went for an evaluation for a raise. Mm-hmm. Went through this whole thing, because she got passed up last year, or the year before, so last year she went through. Says, well, after going through all that, got her check. Pleased to announce you have a raise. Her raise was 1 penny.
No kidding.
40 cents a week raise.
Oh my God.
She was so mad, but she said, what do? You gotta work, and
oh my
1
God.
penny raise, 80 cents for a pay period. Oh my God.
That's just an insult.
Oh Christ.
We talk about the low wages for gaming for our people up there. Well, I think a big problem is they take a portion of that gaming funds, the profits, and they're supplementing the wages at the tribal council building or administrative staff or wherever. It's time we put together a good pay scale for all our workers, so they're not only got a full-time job, but they're eligible for welfare. All these scare taxes and all this misinformation, it's time, it's time for a change, and everyone out there feels the same way. Just a way that people want to be a part of that change because they know it's a bad time to be incumbents. But that's enough for me. Thank you.
So I'm running for chairman. A lot of you know me from my writing in the Native American press. My whole effort has been to expose corruption, bid rigging, skimming, kickbacks, sweetheart contracts. That's all going on within tribal government now. And that's been my whole effort, has been to expose that. And a lot of people are telling me, hey, why are you out front? Well, because the tribal council is abusing my tribal people, the people that I'm supposed to be working with. That's my whole objective in running, is to give the government back to the people. Thank you.
I don't think anyone's surprised that the chairman chose to skip the event tonight. Chip told me himself that most of his support comes from voters who live off the reservation and send in absentee ballots at election time.
And we got, like you say, we got 22,000 enrolled members, of which 5,000 live on the reservation. So, there's 15, 16, 17,000 out there that live elsewhere. They're all the way from Alaska to Hawaii to Europe, all over the place.
And how do they know who to vote for?
What I do is I got a campaign brochure that I mail to them, and then I staple one of these cards in between it, and then when they open it up, it's there, and if they choose to vote, they get a ballot. Mm-hmm. And usually they'll get the whole ballot with everybody's names on it, but the only one they know is because I got my brochure.
I was surprised that so many White Earth members live off the reservation, and that so many of them vote for Chip. When I asked Irma about that, she said that a lot of those people don't realize they're voting for Chip. and she implied that with so many absentee ballots, there's a lot of room for fraud. Today I'm going with her on the 4-hour drive to Minneapolis, where she's trying to organize election monitors to keep an eye on the ballot counting in the coming election. She hopes that pressure from off the reservation will discourage the kind of tampering she says happens every 4 years.
I thought they said they were conference room J. Over here. Come on. Over here. Huh? Right here. This way. Right here. Yeah. It's conference room J. Right here. No. It's G. No. That's a different P. So the corruption at White Earth has been entrenched a long time. And Daryl Wadena, the chairman, was a terrible dictator on the reservation, ruling with a system of patronage, favoritism, intimidation, punishment. I mean, you name it, it happened. I mean, these candidates come in with boxes. Well, half the size of this table full of ballots that are stuffed, that are fraudulent, that they've manufactured themselves with the election board, and they just count those ballots out and they win by a landslide. So it's this kind of fraud that we are facing for the June election. In spite of all that, is there a way that someone can, I mean, your organization is good, is there some way that, we can get the Carter Center or just some of these people who go out and monitor, watch elections in Haiti, and I mean.
It was decided at the meeting that it's too late to organize monitors for the coming election. On the drive back to White Earth, I asked Irma why the Bureau of Indian Affairs couldn't oversee the election. She told me they've been trying to get the federal government involved for years, but that Washington is always reluctant to use its authority over the tribal governments unless it has a clear interest in the matter. But she told me that since the casino's been built, a federal prosecutor from St. Paul named David Lillehog has been to the reservation many times with investigators from the FBI and the IRS. She said this prosecutor seems convinced that he can find enough evidence of shady dealings to indict Chip Wadena in federal court. But Irma's not too confident that that'll happen before this year's election. Any effort to make sure that the election's fair can't wait for the federal investigators, she says. And when we get home, Irma gets on the phone and starts calling the papers in Fargo and Minneapolis and the smaller towns in between.
There was siphoning off tribal program monies, but it did not become so blatant until after the casino started. Oh, driving custom trucks, Hawaiian vacations, Las Vegas vacations, Florida vacations, traveling throughout the world.
Last year I've been to Las Vegas, Washington, D.C., the state of Washington, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Florida. I've been to Germany, I've been to France, I've been to England, I've been to Italy, I've been to Spain and North Africa, But it's a politician's trip, and also turns into a politician's life.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. 6 weeks from now, White Earth tribal members will elect a tribal chair, and already some are saying the election will be fixed.
He is up to it again. He's going to rig this one. We'll have to go back and have a recall. That's the only thing left in our Constitution that gives us A way out is our recall election.
The election returns will be counted by the same group of election judges who allegedly rigged election returns 2 years ago. In Whiter, Ned Duber, KVLY, News 11.
Medal. Set National Offensive Service. It's a green campaign ribbon with 4 battle stars on it. I got this thing at the age of 16. They gave me these for fighting for democracy for the United States government over in Korea. Can't even have a legal election on a reservation yet. You got all these here. And I got the combat infantry badge also. See, now look. Now, what good did he do me? I'm gonna give them all back to the army.
While Chip relies on his absentee ballots and Bugger goes door to door looking for voters, Lowell's campaign strategy seems to bank on the voters coming to him and his garage.
Je bak die egos, man. Maar we doen een man als je bak die egos, no? Now I'll commence the surgery. The surgery is about to commence here. That's a bearing race.
The boss yet today.
I had 2 boys named Brown. One from Nadawash and one from Whiteearth. One from Whiteearth, he was really dark complected. The one from Nadawash was light complected. So every time I hollered Brown, they'd both come running. So I give him a name. The guy from Whiteearth, he was 100% brown because his name was Brown, his skin was brown. And the guy from Nadawash, he was 50% brown because he was light complected and only his name was brown.
After being here at Irma's a month now, I'm starting to see how frustrating it is for her and the others who are trying to oust Chip Wadena. He seems untouchable, and with under 2 months to the election, it's hard not to be pessimistic. Even Chip's opponents have to admit he's the closest thing to a sure bet for miles around. That is, he was until today, because today, Irma got the news she'd been waiting for from St. Paul, that finally Chip's bluff was called.
Live from your news leader, WDAY.
Marvin Stacy, federal prosecutors say the case against White Earth tribal officials is simple: stealing money and stealing votes. U.S. government has charged Chip Wadena and other tribal officials with corruption ranging from bid rigging, theft, embezzlement, and election fraud. But lawyers for the accused say tribal leaders were simply acting in accordance with their constitution and their bylaws. Prosecutors say Wadena and other officials rigged casino construction bids and set up bogus tribal agencies that provided them with big salaries. The government also charges that elections in White Earth have been anything but legitimate. Votes from dead people, stuffed ballot boxes, and shredded documents. Some White Earth members agree.
Today, this is a very historic day. This is something that's been we've been hoping that would come true for quite a while. Today, it'll serve notice to us that justice is working for all of us, irregardless.
Thanks, Walt.
You bet. At least we're not asking for anything. This is not personal or nothing. It's just, hey, we were law-abiding citizens, and the law should apply to everyone, including Mr. Wadena.
What do you think about the defense's argument that the federal government is just upset because Mr. Wadena is making $257,000 a year?
No, that's not right. They're bald-faced liars.
What's coming up in June, the election? Who are the candidates running?
I am. I'm running as chairman against Mr. Wadena. But again, we got the same election board that of the people that's up in the courtroom now being charged with election fraud. Their same election board is on there, and my chances of being chairman is about the same chances as a snowball in hell.
Lulu Jackson is a friend of Irma's who worked as a security guard at the Shooting Star Casino for 4 years. She said she lost her job when she was seen at the federal courthouse in St. Paul.
One girl did speak out and say something about Chip, that she didn't agree with what Chip was doing, and guess what? She was fired too a week after I was. 2 weeks or something to that effect. Well, there was another girl there too who'd worked 15 years for them, and she was fired too because she was also seen at that meeting. She was another one. Just lately here, we heard that they have a memorandum hanging on a wall that if you do attend any of these meetings or show up down in the cities, you will lose your job. It is hanging in the employee break room at Shooting Star Casino.
Well, if you attend what?
If you attend the court hearings in St. Paul. See, I told you we live in a communist world. Well, that's the way he treats everybody, you know. He's just like he's a dictator.
Hello? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get up the nerve to ask Chip about Lulu getting fired from the casino, but I'm starting to get the feeling that the chairman is rapidly losing interest with my questions.
I'll try it. Yeah, just
Nonetheless, he said it's okay if I tag along with him on his lunch break. Today is the weekly noontime bingo game in the tribal government building's cafeteria.
Right there. I ain't sharing either if I win with somebody. I ain't splitting if I win with somebody either.
G51
Oh shoot, they didn't mind.
and 34. Oh, 73.
Does he have some? I told him.
G54. B10.
Bingo! Okay. Quit trying to sneak that out. This guy's always asked me to give him $100. Just $100, that's all. That's all. You know,
Real nice people. You just never know. Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen.
A couple of the little.
If Chip wants to shoot it out, we got it. It's a Ruger. Trooper, Mark III.
Our lake is the Dead Sea. I'll have you know.
Lowell and his wife Marge have invited me over for supper, but Lowell's been distracted by a late-breaking bit of news from the campaign trail.
Dick, when did your dad go up and get a haircut? Well, what do we hear? He must have made a comment. If Bugger don't win this election, they're going to kill Chip. He's going to kill Chip Wadena. Well, that's what we heard. Now, listen, this is a story that's going around. I think you better know it. You should know it. That apparently he's supposed to be have been getting a haircut or something up at Maxie Axe's place, and 2 people supposedly heard him said that, and then they went and signed affidavits to that effect.
This is what Chip's saying now in the paper. He says, finally, you know that I'm seeking re-election to the 6th term. I need to stay focused and careful because there are people out there who don't want me to be here. They're jealous because of their own inability to get elected. One of the chairman candidate's father said in a Waban barbershop that if his son didn't get elected, he had 2 people that were going to kill me. That's totally twisted up. I guess that's one of the hazards you have with this job. I'm going to determine to win in spite of the troubles I'm having right now. I'm confident that when it's all said and done, I'll ride away on a white horse. That's what Chip says.
Well, I just hope my only concern this election, I hope they don't cheat like they have the last ones, you know. If they monkey with the election, if they think that if Chip gets back in, there ain't no one supporting Chip. I mean, if he gets back in, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
He said, then look out. That's what they said down there when we were down there. He said, but they're not going to interfere unless they know for sure that, and if he gets back in, there's no one voting. Even in Leech Lake, the only family in Leech Lake that's going with him is Gary Fraser, and that's because he works for the tribe, you know, and they've always stuck with him, but that's it. People are fed up. They've had it with him, you know, so it'll be interesting to see.
We're going in to see Chip get thrown in jail. He's going to get hung, I hope.
Back in St. Paul, the area in front of the federal courthouse has become a White Earth reunion. The prosecution has subpoenaed over 100 White Earth enrollees from as far away as Florida and South Carolina. In a busy couple of days, they've each filed before the jury to testify that, although they didn't send in an absentee ballot in the last election, somehow a ballot in their name wound up in the polling office with a vote for the incumbent. The papers have been covering the story on and off, but I've gotten most of my updates at White Earth from Irma, who talks to the prosecutor's office almost daily. Apparently, they've been outlining a series of bribes, money laundering schemes, and bid rigging that Wadena may have engineered during the contracting for the casino. The defense, a dream team of Minneapolis and Fargo lawyers, has been arguing that all of the chairman's casino dealings are justified under the tribal constitution, and that it's none of the government's business how a sovereign nation counts its votes. Today we got the news that an open candidates forum had been canceled at the last minute. The forum was scheduled for tomorrow night at the elementary school, but the tribal government has suddenly announced that the school will no longer be available for use. Irma said that the cancellation is just business as usual for the Wadena campaign, but she said Bugger got a big break today anyway. A relative of his who works for the tribal government got him a mailing list of all eligible absentee voters, and Bugger and Irma are doing a mass mailing to reach voters that Bugger can't meet in person during his daily door-to-door canvassing.
The first one I've ever had a really irate couple. I wouldn't say that to me, so I said, well, I'm Bugger McCarthy, we're campaigning for Chairman of White Earth, you know, I hand my brochure to him, you know, and that guy goes, well, we decided we aren't going to vote. I said, you're not going to vote? He said, well, they never get nothing out of White Earth anyway, he says. I said, well, you know, I said, so we're just not going to vote. And I said, well, you know, if I felt that way, I said, instead of giving up on the system, I think I'd try to change the system. I said, I'd try to put different people in there. I said, you know, you people, and not just you people, I said, but a lot of your family have supported Chip for 20 years. I said, where's it gotten you? I said, maybe it's time to give someone else a chance. That's how I'd look at it. Crazy. Then they started talking, we broke the ice, and it was really good, you know.
With the campaign in high gear, now that the election's just under a month away, it's almost impossible to tell who's in the lead. Without organized polling, the next best indicator is gossip, and lately I've been hearing a new name come up again and again. The Reverend Doyle Turner's been running a quiet campaign that nobody seemed to be paying much attention to. But now it looks like he may be a real contender for the job. Turner is an Episcopal minister from the northern part of the reservation, and he's managed to stay neutral through all the protesting against CHIP. He's rescheduled a candidates forum in the village of Callaway to make up for the canceled event, but on such short notice, only one other candidate manages to make it to the debate.
It's a big job. And we've got a time now. It's a window of opportunity to change things.
That's right.
And it's, with the trial has provided that.
And today, this is the window of opportunity. It's taken us 20 years to get these guys in a federal courthouse. Well, we come through. We got to get the government back to the people. Give it back to the people. It don't belong to us. You're nothing more than a representative here.
We need a landslide on the reservation. We need everyone to make their voice known. That's the only way we can beat absentees is to have a major turnout like we've never had before.
Yeah, no matter who wins, Doyle, I or anybody, whoever wins, hey, we need change here, and we need every reservation resident's input into it.
Mm-hmm.
Where the heck do you go? Where'd you go, Frisky? Come on, Peanuts.
Although the turnout was a bit disappointing, I thought Reverend Turner made a good impression yesterday at the debate. Today I've stopped by Lowell's house to ask him what he thinks of Turner's candidacy.
The only thing with difference between Chip Wadena and Doyle Turner is Doyle Turner's got his collar on backwards. That's the only difference. Because Mr. Turner is just as goddamn crooked as Mr. Wadena. You know, Mr. Turner makes a dog's hind leg look straight.
What are examples of stuff?
Oh, when he came with his first assignment out of the seminary was Whitehurst. He came to Whitehurst. He lasted 1 month. He couldn't cope with the people that were saying Wadena is a crook. He had to move to Wadena's hometown. Wadena then made him some kind of, and give him a contract, some kind of a counseling service contract. Well, I wouldn't let Mr. Turner counsel my cat. He'd turn him into a thief too.
I was surprised at Doyle running. He was appointed by Chip as a judge. He was a judge for Whitehurst for a long time, you know, and his wife's got a big job up in Mahnomen, you know. A lot of people think that Chip wants him in there if you don't get in there to take care of him afterwards, you know. That's what the biggest fear is, you know. I was down testified on Monday and Tuesday. Looks bad for them. They're going down. They know it too.
You wouldn't be riding a white horse then.
Did you see that? Yeah. Did you see that in that article? Riding a white horse.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You'll get a black horse.
Horns on. We go to the casino and I see old Chip's pickup there. It says, big chief and big thief. I said,
super thief.
Yeah, super chief.
Yeah.
I said, super thief. I said, other people looked at me. I was looking at his license plate.
It's becoming clear that most of the chairman's opponents think Doyle Turner amounts to a watered-down version of Chip Wadena.
Super thief.
But this morning, Irma showed me a lead editorial in the Minneapolis Star-Tribune that endorses Turner for chairman. The article cites Turner's credentials as a minister and his plans to establish an independent tribal judiciary. By breakfast time, Irma has already written a response to the paper.
We who live on the reservation see beyond the collar and cloth of Doyle Turner. We see a politician priest who has had a long, cozy relationship with the Wadena government. Bishop Tutu said, quote, "If you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor," unquote. We knew the side that Doyle Turner chose, and now you have chosen him.
Driving around the past few days, I've been noticing an alarming number of fires across the reservation. At first, I figured that the frustrations of Chip's opponents had led to an outburst of rioting. But Irma reassured me that the fields are burned every year by farmers getting ready for the season's planting. It is getting tense around here, though, and despite the evidence piling up against him, the chairman seems more confident than ever. Maybe he does have something worked out with Doyle Turner or with the election judges. As Lowell says, he's definitely got something up his sleeve. But maybe Chip's confidence about winning just comes from the fact that after holding power for so long and getting away with so much, he just can't imagine any other outcome.
I think I'm gonna win this election anyway. I mean, I'm the man to beat right now. And, a lot of these other candidates that are coming in are unknown commodities. I got a track record that's it's hard to argue with.
Chip Wadena told us he's frustrated that he hasn't been able to say much about the charges against him.
Well, there's no question about it that people, think that there's something amiss here, and I have to try and explain it. My problem, of course, is I can't talk about it. You have all these newspaper articles that make all kinds of allegations, and it's kind of frustrating to sit here and say, there's nothing I can say about that because, of course, on advice of my attorneys, I'm not supposed to.
Doyle Turner's criticism was much more muted when we asked him what he thinks of Wadena.
I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed. He could have been a leader for life,
Opponents of Wadena are convinced that Wadena is going to lose the reservation vote. The question in their mind is how is he going to do with the absentee ballots that come from tribal members who live off the reservation? It's with the absentee ballots that election fraud has allegedly occurred in the past. And Carly Jaskin, the election judge who's going to oversee this vote, happens to be the very same person who's on trial in federal court for election fraud.
Are you ready to go?
John.
What?
Lock it up, lock it up, lock it up. Let's go.
Lock it up? Okay. I don't think they should have.
Exactly. There's more people thinking that way, that there should not be elections. There shouldn't even be elections until we get a primary system in here.
Hey, is it okay if I just leave my car here? I'll just go walking around project campaigning. Is that okay? All right, I'll just get it out of the way in case you guys want to get up. All right. Who's home? Anyone home here today?
Who are you people?
I'm Bugger MacArthur. I'm running for chairman.
Oh, that guy.
That guy?
Finish before it gets dark.
All right, Todd. We'll see you later. Thank you. Well, it was good to see you, my friend. Jeez, it's good to see you. I hope the hell you get better.
Move, come on.
He's back up there. I gotta go to work at 4, so
Hey, did you go vote yet?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, did you put me in office?
I can't believe you're smiling that much. I'll tell you. Must have been the happiest. Must be the happiest day of your life. One more time. So what time do they close? 8 o'clock?
It's a game of catch. They just get better at it. I mean, they try something else, so every year it's different. I don't know.
Irma's waited to the last minute to vote. She says she plans to watch the election workers count the ballots at her precinct. All day I've been getting the sense that she's been preparing for battle.
They've opened the ballot. There's a sheriff too, right here. There's a deputy. I just wonder what these guys are, what these deputies are doing on the reservation right now when these deputies never come out to investigate fraud. They're here to act like the Gestapo of watching tribal election. I'm just going to sit here for a minute. Hi. Is the deputy sheriffs out at Pine Point polls?
I'm the one that's out there.
Are they? Who called you out? Or I mean, I know you're at the school, but who called the deputies out?
Called them out. I'm not sure who called them out. I guess I was just told to come out here by the sheriff and just to help out, make sure everything's went smooth. I guess you can call and talk to Tom Hunt.
Yeah, I have a call into Tom Hunt because Becker County doesn't come out when we have election fraud, so I don't know what they're doing out now. Oh my gosh. Mark the first one. Let's scratch his name off the ballot. Shouldn't do this. Wow. Oops.
There's 24. 24. Wouldn't that be a kick in the head if it wasn't the right key? Gotta be this one. Gotta be this one. Mindy Bugger. Mindy Bugger MacArthur. Daryl Wadena. Doyle Turner. Chip Wadena. Doyle Turner. Bugger MacArthur. Bugger MacArthur. Bugger MacArthur. Doyle Turner. Bugger MacArthur. Bugger MacArthur. Carol John Buchanan.
Well, Bugger always takes Pine Point. I mean, he always does pretty good in Pine Point. He didn't do as well as he did before because the priest ran. Somehow the people can't separate the celebrant of the Eucharist from the election, I guess.
Daryl Chip Wadena is running for his fifth
Irma's
term.
joined a group of Bugger supporters at his house to await the election results. By the early morning, they should have the totals from all the precincts on the reservation. But this year, the absentee ballots won't be counted until tomorrow.
Minoan precincts in. We just all Packard give it was the top three. Okay, I got 22. Doyle got 43. Chip got 24. Chip got 4. Doyle got 10. And I got 2. That's Bolio. And in Bijou, I got 5. Doyle got 6. And Chip got 3. That's 14 votes there in that little bitty precinct.
135. Bugger's only ahead by 5. I knew Doyle would give him a run.
I thought Lowell would get some votes out of White Earth. Crazy. I think he'd get some votes.
Get a lot of votes out of White Earth.
Look like I knew Doyle would. Look like Mr. Clean coming through the reservation.
And I got about, 100, 22, 32, 35, about the same. We're about even after these. Yeah, we're about even after these 5 precincts. Ebro was me 10, Doyle 39, and Chip 2. So, but Doyle's got 532, we got 435, Chip's got 210, Lowell 75. Who is this? Oh yeah, we just got the totals for the reservation. Yeah, going into the absentees tomorrow. Remember all you Red Lakers are talking about you can't beat the church? I guess we can't.
Doyle Turner's holding a 100-vote lead over Bugger and a 300-vote lead over Wadena. But with rumors of a few thousand absentee ballots to be counted today, Irma still thinks the chairman's going to pull it out.
What's that?
I said 3,200 votes, absentees, and Chip has 2,000 of them.
So he can still win?
Oh, yeah. He'll win.
Daryl Chipwadena. Daryl Chipwadena. Daryl Chipwadena. Daryl Chipwadena. Daryl Chipwadena.
They're counting right now. I mean, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen?
Chip's going to win. We knew that going into this.
Can't the federal government come in here and monitor this? I mean, yesterday the same question was why isn't someone else coming in here and watching this whole thing?
Well, the government has the best of both worlds. When it's advantageous to them, they can come in and say, okay, well you can do this and you can do that. When it's advantageous to the Indian people, they can come out and say, well, you're a sovereign nation, we can't get involved. And that's been a BIA policy for years.
Somebody just came out and said the Chip's way. What the hell was it? They said he's way ahead.
How much?
A couple hundred.
Couple hundred. How much to go, they tell you?
Not much more.
How much more?
It should be done by now.
People have spoke. You got
Right now.
14% of the votes, all you got on the reservation.
Right.
That's it.
Let me make sure I've got your name right. Eugene Bugger McCarthy.
No, MC, capital A, R, T-H-U-R. Where are you from, sir?
Star Tribune.
Oh, Star Tribune.
You was ahead by a half a step for a while. But hey, and when these absentee ballots come in, hey, I don't care if your name is Lord Jesus Christ, you're going to lose. That's the whole gist of the matter is, I don't care, Doyle. If you're ahead, I'm ahead, Robert's ahead, whoever it is, it's not legal because, hey, they got a lock onto the whole ballot system.
Well, we heard the voice of the reservation last night.
We heard the voice of the reservation, right. You beat them at the reservation level, but these ballot box stuffing is gonna take place, and
he's gonna have to get 3 to my 1 to catch.
Right.
Daryl Chipwadena. Eugene Bugger MacArthur. Eugene Bugger MacArthur. Doyle Turner. Daryl Chipwadena.
How many absentees they say?
Oh, Chip's pulling ahead, I guess.
Huh?
Chip's pulling.
Hi. They just said Chip's ahead about 200.
Really?
Yeah.
How many they got in there now?
How many? They said they had 2,500 absentee ballots altogether.
Oh,
and then you said they were getting 2 to 1. Chip was getting 2 to 1.
Fraser said they had 950. And they said that's
900? How many?
950.
Absentee?
Yeah.
It's no surprise that Chip is getting the most votes. But as Doyle pointed out, Wadena's got a lot of ground to make up to win it. And although Bugger isn't saying much, I know he's trying to calculate whether returns from the mailings he did with Irma will be enough for an upset.
He'll win by 20 or 30.
MacArthur. Lowell Bellinger. Daryl Chipwadena. Eugene Bugger MacArthur. Lowell Bellinger.
20 after 4, the phone rings. Bug, what's happening? I said, who is this? It's Dawn. I just woke up. Crazy Dawn, I just went to sleep. I said, everybody was over and left the call results, and we left you alone because we knew you were sleeping.
Came out and give Doyle a piece of paper over there. I don't know
What?
if they're done. Fraser,
No, they're not done.
Fraser just came out and gave Doyle a piece of paper.
No, they're not done, I don't think. No, here he comes. Huh? I was just in
What?
there.
That was scary.
Yeah.
How's it look, Gary? What's that? What's that? Bugger MacArthur, 690. Lowell, Doyle, 676. What chip get?
520.
520, huh? Thanks a lot.
Congratulations. I'm sure there'll be recon stuff in there.
Okay. Thanks, Gary. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
I didn't know for you.
I heard that too, my friend. I know.
I'm right behind you all the way, supporting you 100%.
Thanks a lot, boy.
Just we need to change, and
Now
you represent it.
That's right. That's right.
You represent it.
In the end, Bugger won by 14 votes. The following weekend, he attended the annual White Earth Powwow, and it felt like a huge celebration. I think people are genuinely amazed and overjoyed that a situation that seemed beyond change has changed. In the next weeks and months, the White Earth tribal government will start to redefine itself. But for now, all that matters is the simple fact that for the first time in 20 years, there's a new chairman here. 2 weeks later, the jury returned a guilty verdict in Chipwadena's trial, and the judge sent him away for 5 years. Bugger appointed Irma to the position of Secretary-Treasurer of the tribe, and together they fired Gaming World International and hired local managers for the casino.
Get our meal. This is where our meal will come from.
For his part, Lowell continues the crusade against injustice, wherever he can find it.
Come here, little guy. I think you better go back and grow up. Sayonara. One of these days, Nick, what you're going to have to do, one of these days you're going to have to do, you're going to have to come over here, leave your camera and stuff, and you and I just go fishing. Just for the afternoon. And get us a beer and put her in the boat and go out and sit there and fish a while and have a beer or two. Nice cold ones. Frosty ones.